This winter, we are visiting Italy over the Christmas holiday, and here's how we spent 48 hours in Venice. We arrived in Venice on Thursday evening after catching the Dolomiti bus down from the mountains. With 2 days to spend, we picked up 48-hour vaporetto passes and took a boat ride to our hotel. We stayed near Rialto Market at the Pensione Garato, a lovely hotel in a perfect location. After dropping our bags, we needed to get some dinner. We immediately started walking the Rialto area in search of cicchetti. We stopped at Cantino de Spade and had some fried cod and some hash brown-like potatoes. From there, we grabbed a few slices at Farini Pizza and then moved on to some gelato to finish the walking meal. We did a little window shopping and soaked in the Venetian holiday atmosphere, but we were tired and we had an early morning ahead of us. So we called it a day early on Thursday. On Friday, I got up early to explore a bit before the rest of the tourists woke up. I grabbed an espresso at Café del Doge, allegedly the first coffee shop in all of Europe. With the caffeine kicking up, it was delightful to have the Rialto Bridge nearly to myself. We had an 8 o'clock breakfast appointment in the hotel. Then we headed out the door to catch a vaporetto to St. Mark's Square. We took a few pictures and flowed with the crowds through the scenic square before heading into the Doge's Palace for our 10 o'clock Secret Itineraries tour. The Secret Itineraries tour took us into the palace through the oft-flooded, cold, dark cells in the basement and led us through some of the narrow and fascinating portions of the Venetian judiciary. Patty and I had taken a tour of the Doge's Palace in the past, and much of the information was similar, but rather than hearing about the city from the grand rooms of the aristocracy, it was interesting to hear about it from the cramped quarters of the condemned. We saw a lot of the cells, the torture room, and the offices and working spaces of the Grand Chancellor, the voice of the commoners, who was allegedly paid so well that he could not be bought. From the back halls, we joined the regular tour of the palace, including the grand halls, a veritable museum of medieval weaponry, and the Bridge of Sighs. From the Doge's Palace, we walked the promenade along the lagoon to Breria Forst for a quick lunch of sandwiches and cicchetti. We continued exploring east to the Chiesa di Santa Zaccaria. This church is covered in murals, including some by native Venetian Tintoretto. Unfortunately, there are no videos allowed in the church. The other draw of this church is a chance to head down into the fascinating flooded crypts. We headed a little further west from San Zaccaria to the Arsenal to take a look at the walled former shipyard of the Republic. By this point, our legs needed a rest, and we needed some sugar. So we hopped a vaporetto back to Gelateria Nico for an afternoon pick-me-up. We caught another boat back to the hotel for a quick power nap to recharge for our main event, a gondola rowing lesson. We met our instructor at Row Venice in the Cannaregio neighborhood. We did a few minutes of practice while the gondola was still tethered to the side of the canal, then set off through some of the quieter canals along the north of Venice. The canals are delightfully quiet, and the scenery was spectacular from the gondola. We got to see a beautiful sunset and the Dolomites in the distance as we paddled our way through a more residential part of the city. After rowing ourselves for more than an hour, we were ready for a reward. We stopped at Vino Vero first for some wine and cicchetti. Then we grabbed some deep-fried seafood at the Frito Inn before finishing our night with, of course, more gelato and a boat ride back to our hotel. This morning we got up for another morning walk and another quick cafe at Café del Doge. Our first stop for today is right across the street here at the Fondaco del Tedeschi viewing platform to soak in the views from Venice. From there, we've spent the day wandering the alleys and canals of Venice, eating and window shopping our way through the city. Some highlights have included a delicious snack at Gelateria Suso, squeezing through the narrow, claustrophobic Calle Verisco, browsing the uber-crowded Libreria Agua Alta, and eating a delicious lunch at Osteria da Albergo. After a pause for an Aperol Spritz, we grabbed our bags from the hotel and headed to the train station to catch our ride to Rome. That's it for our 48 hours in Venice, a city that's overwhelmingly touristy and crowded, but yet somehow remains magical. I know global tourism has really flooded the city in the past 15 years since we last visited, but by visiting outside the peak time, even though it was a busy holiday week, I still felt like Venice was a delight. There's a mystery and a romanticism about this city that I've never felt anywhere else. Sure, there are tourist traps and some of the main attractions can get super crowded. You're as likely to hear English as Italian in the main thoroughfares. But it's easy to escape that and slide into some of the back alleys to wander this city. And Venice remains Venice, a sinking labyrinth that I cannot wait to get lost in again. So while it's arrivederci for now, Venice remains one of my favorite places on earth, and I can't wait to come back.